It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the UMSL St. Louis head women's basketball coach, Coach Katie Vaughn. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Can you talk about how you knew that you want to get started in coaching in college women's basketball?
Well, it kind of just came natural progression with having played obviously at Central Missouri. I was offered the position to stay on as a grad assistant, not quite knowing what I wanted to do when I grew up still. I went to school to be, I started out pre-med and then moved to psychology. So kind of had a few different paths I thought I was going to go down. So to get into coaching was a little outside the box, even more than I thought it would be, but started that grad position and really enjoyed it, and just kind of thought, well, it was very enjoyable. I caught on to it quickly. I had a great mentor and Scott Ballard as my head coach. So just kind of moved forward with it, and things just kept falling in place. So I just went with it.
Going to Central Missouri, what was that experience like playing basketball, and what was it like putting on the uniform for them?
Oh, it was amazing. Central Missouri has a very deep tradition of men and women's basketball being very good. It's well supported. The community does a great job. All sports we supported each other. So it was fun, not only as a women's basketball player to put the jersey on and play for them, but to also just be involved collectively throughout the community and within the athletic department there at Central.
What was that transition like for you, going from being a player to a grad assistant at your alma mater of Central Missouri?
Uh, yeah, that was very difficult. Obviously, you coached some of the players that you just played with the year before, and you were obviously still friends with. So, yeah, that was a tough transition, and just having to separate being we're not friends anymore, on the court and off the court. You had to kind of change your habits as to, who you were hanging out with and things like that. But it went well. Again, I had a great mentor. My assistant coach was great. So just it was an easy transition, and the girls were awesome with understanding the new role that I was in. But I often played with them, so I still got to play and learn how to coach at the same time. So it was kind of just an extension of my playing as well.
How did your time as a grad assistant help you into becoming a head coach on the community college level?
Yeah, it was great. My head coach, Scott Ballard, he gave me a lot of different roles. I got to wear a lot of hats, and he allowed me to be a part of a lot of the decision making, whether it was game planning, strategizing, recruiting, and the grunt work, the managerial stuff where you had to do the laundry and sweep the floor before practice and all of that. So it definitely prepared me to be an assistant at Moberly Area Community College, where I had to just take on all those roles as well. So yeah, I felt very prepared through my experiences as a grad assistant.
What was that experience like for you, becoming a head coach for the first time and going to Lincoln?
Yeah, it was, I at Moberly was the assistant for 2 years and then became the head coach there. And that was a quick jump. I'd only been a grad assistant for 2 years and then an assistant for 2 years. So really 4 years of learning and exploring all different things. So um it was really, it happened very quickly. I don't know if you're ever ready for it when it happens. To move up that next seat is a big jump. So again, probably a little underprepared, but thrown into the fire and jumped in with 2 feet and just kind of, it was sink or swim. So I stayed afloat enough at Moberly to gain a position at Lincoln, and that transition went well. Took a few players with me that I already knew, so that was comfortable. I had a good friend of mine join me as my assistant, Nicole Collier. So that was comfortable as well. So having those people surrounding you, that support you and you trust them, obviously made the transition a little bit easier. But still, going from a 2 year back to a 4 year in the conference that I played in the MIAA was another big jump.
What were some of the things that you were able to accomplish at Lincoln as head coach?
We took a program that was, at the bottom of the league and hadn't won a lot of games, and just kind of redirecting the mind frame of, a winning culture, and how you do things, how you do some things, how you do everything, right? So just kind of laying the foundation as to what we wanted the program to look like, day in and day out, with, the expectations of going to class and being in the community and winning games. Ultimately we wanted to be present in all of those things. So just it was a transition. I was there for 3 years, so it went very fast, and we won a lot of games my third year there. So we felt like we put them back on the map as far as competing in the conference that they were in, and again laid some good foundation for the future years.
What was that transition like, going from Lincoln to UMSL and becoming their next head coach?
That transition wasn't as difficult, just because it was a 4-year to a 4-year and a very similar, I guess, atmosphere. But obviously with any transition, there's always the differences, new AD, new players, new community. So, but again, the transition went well. I have a very supportive AD here at UMSL, Lori Flanagan, who was very helpful and helped just making that comfortable move for me and my family. So we had 2 young kids at the time, and finding a place to live, and again, just joining a new community and a new friend group and everything, getting your kids into a school and all of it. It was a transition. But obviously now we've been here for 12 years, just finished 12th year. And again, just we've dove all in and laid the foundation here, as well as to how we do things, and just keep growing with it and building on it every year.
What is that feeling like, getting to step onto that basketball court and representing them as a head coach?
Yeah, every game, every practice, you kind of get into the daily routine and the mundane stuff that you do every day. But man, every game, it just feels like the first game. You step out there, and the pressure's on, the expectations are high for myself, for my team. So just to be our best and to represent that jersey that we put on, and do it in a prideful way, and do it the right way. So but yeah, every game is you still get that juice flowing, that excitement going, and always look forward to the next game.
Of course, for you as a head coach, what was that feeling like, getting that first win for UMSL?
Yeah, that first year, again, I inherited a pretty already set team when I got here. So kind of trying to get those kids to, buy into what you were doing. And obviously when you win, the buy-in happens a little bit quicker. So yeah, those first couple wins were huge. And again, I had a great support staff with my assistants, and they bought in very quickly, and everyone just was ready to change the culture and change the kind of dynamic of where the program was. So yeah, those first wins were great. And again, you just saw the revival in the players, almost just like, wow, this is fun, and this is enjoyable again. So yeah, that was, it feels like just yesterday, but it's hard to believe it was 12 years ago.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've started to build for the program?
Yeah, I said, we do things, not sometimes. How we do things is how we do things all the time. And again, that's represented throughout the community, and how we represent ourselves in the classroom, and at functions, and on the bus trips, and in hotel rooms. But we base everything off hard work and respect. We just really respect that we have this opportunity, me to coach, and the players to get to play this awesome game, and get a great education at the same time. So there are days we got to remind them of that. This is an opportunity. This isn't, it's a job in essence, but it should be a job that you enjoy getting up for and going to. But yeah, just that culture of, respect everything that we do. We respect stepping on that floor every day for practice, and putting on that practice gear, and then moving forward into games, and respect our opponents. And again, just move that forward into our daily lives with our schoolwork and internships and all of that. And hopefully we've given them a lot of tools to move into the real world when they're through with us.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against?
We have 15 teams in our conference, I think, this year. Lincoln is actually coming in next year, so that'll be an interesting addition for us. Drury down south, SBU's down there. And then we go over to Kansas City is William Jewell and Rockhurst, Truman and Quincy up there in the north part of Missouri. And then you get into Illinois, you have Illinois Springfield, McKendree, Lewis over there in Chicago area, Indianapolis, and then Maryville here in town. So that's kind of, and Missouri S&T. So that's kind of our radius right there. So we're actually very centrally located. So I really enjoy our conference. We have about a 3.5, 4 hour radius around from Kansas City to Springfield to Chicago to Indy. So our travel is not too bad. I think some other people could complain in our league, but for that we get to stay in classes and not miss a lot of schoolwork and all of that. So yeah, it's a very competitive league, night in and night out. You can't take anybody for granted. That's for sure.
What is that home game atmosphere like when teams like McKendree comes to your home facility?
Yeah, these closer games, a lot of us recruit locally, Maryville, McKendree, us. So yeah, those games get pretty full, and a lot of parent support and community support just with, high school coaches and high school teammates and grandparents and all of that come to support. So yeah, those are fun games and have become kind of rival games between us and McKendree and us and Maryville.
So far as a head coach, what have been some of the things that you've been able to accomplish?
Just watching these kids graduate and move on to their life, now being in it for 12 years, we've had our alumni games and we see these kids come back and now they're accountants and nurses and going back to school to be bigger and better than what they accomplished when they were here. So just reuniting with some of the players that I've had in the past and seeing their successes and their families grow, they're getting married and having kids. And although very crazy, those are probably my biggest accomplishments when I look back on, wins. You've had some great wins and you've beat some teams you probably shouldn't have, and the close wins and the buzzer beaters and all of that. But ultimately, it is just watching these young ladies turn into women, and when they leave us, they go out into the world and make a difference.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes? And as a head coach, what do you look at in those prospective student athletes?
Every year's a little different as to what we're looking for skill wise, right? Like some years we need a point guard, some years we need a post player. But we ultimately are always looking for kids that are working hard. So when we go out and we watch them, are they diving on the floor for loose balls? Are they rebounding? Are they playing defense, doing the kind of grind work that, not everybody wants to do night in and night out. And everybody wants to score, right? Like that's the fun part. So yeah, that might draw our attention to, oh, this kid averages 15 points a game. Let's go check him out. But then we dig a lot deeper than that and just watch the full package. And again, how hard they play and compete and just have that winning mentality, refuse to lose mentality, because that's what it takes at this level. When you get, to the college level, everybody's good. Everybody can shoot the ball. Everybody can pass the ball, right? So it's who does those intangible things that can really take the team, be a team player and take the whole team to the next level.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that uniform for the first time?
Yeah, it's exciting, and we call them our little babies, right? Like they just walk out there bright eyed, and even the first practices, they don't know what they don't know. And they're little sponges and they just absorb everything. And I really, really enjoy freshmen because they really are just wide eyed and ready to take anything in. And, as players get older, they develop their own identity as a player, and some stay very coachable and some get less coachable. But yeah, those freshmen, they're excited. They're just really enjoyable to be around, and they're cheering for their teammates all the time and just have that new they bring in that new excitement every year. So yeah, we always enjoy those freshmen when they come in.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen achieve those first milestones, like first career points?
Yeah, like this year we had a post player, and it took a semester to get her feet wet and just really kind of learn the difference, between high school and the transition to the college game, bigger, faster, stronger. And she finally turned the page, probably after Christmas, which that's typical, for freshmen to come back after break and believe in themselves a little bit more, and just understand the game more, right, at the college level. So I think, watching her, for example, she had a game against SB where I think she had 35 points, and it was just like, the girls were just so excited for her when I said the stat. And just to watch her come out of her shell and just, score time after time and kind of just almost shock herself, like, wow, I keep doing this. So yeah, those moments for those freshmen, those aha moments and those, oh wow, I'm capable of doing more than I thought I could. Those are huge accomplishments for me to watch those players grow in those ways and really, recognizing themselves, their capabilities are larger than what they thought.
What's it like getting to see those seniors put on that uniform for the last time?
That's always a sad moment, a little bit, bittersweet kind of experience because you've seen most of them grow for 4 years, some maybe for 2 because we get them as transfers. But again, just kind of reflecting on the experience they had and the impact they left on this program. But a lot of the times they're ready to go. 4 years is a long time to play college basketball, and although it's sad, everyone's ready for that next step, right? Like they're ready to enter the real world and start their careers. And but again, just reflecting on the impact that each one of them make in a different way is always fun to go back. And we have our seniors write a letter to their freshman selves, and then they get to read it at like their senior. We usually do a senior send off breakfast or something the day before the day of the last game. So morning usually. So listening to them write to their freshman selves and then watching the freshmen listen to them read their letters, it's very emotional. But again, to see their reflection on their past years and how they've evolved from freshman year to senior year, whatever that path was for them, it's just exciting. And it kind of brings you back as a coach that's been doing this for a long time to go, okay, every kid is unique and every kid has a different path. And some may play 40 minutes for you every game and some may not play a lot. So again, they all have a different experience. So listening to their reflection is always captivating.
What is it like seeing those seniors achieve those last big milestones in their career?
Yeah, we do talk about it as the year goes on. We're like, oh, this is your last your last this is your last time to possibly do this, So like anything, when a chapter closes, we hope that they've through those learning moments, they've grown so much and they're going to propel all of those moments into again, whatever they're doing next. Some continue to play overseas. We've had a few kids go play overseas, and some just jump into the working world and some go on to post grad school. So yeah, those lasts are always exciting and again, a little bittersweet because you get a little emotional about watching a kid maybe do something that they've been working on for a long time, and we've been pushing them on for a long time, and then you see it, and again, those aha moments don't just happen for freshmen, they happen for seniors too. So it's continual growth, and our seniors again impact, no matter whether they play a minute or 40 minutes for us, they're always impactful to us, and we always miss them dearly.
For you as a head coach, what is it like seeing those players go playing overseas and also playing in the WNBA?
Again, yeah, we've had a couple go overseas. We have one currently over there right now, a post player. And yeah, it's exciting. It's just a very different brand of basketball over there. So listening to them, call back and tell us all about it and watching them, obviously with technology these days, we can tune in and catch some of their games. So, it's also bittersweet to watch a player you've coached for 4 years go get coached by somebody else and go play for another team, again, at another level. But, yeah, it's really exciting. And I think it's something we want to continue to push forward. Obviously, with how women's basketball is trending right now, it's the opportunities are growing for women after college. So I hope we can continue to recruit players that's their goal is to play overseas or the WNBA. I know that doesn't happen a lot from our league to go to the WNBA, but just those goals to continue to play and obviously, if those are their goals, then they're very competitive and they want to win and they want to keep growing their game. And those are ultimately the kids we want to continue to bring into the program.
What have been some of the things that you've been able to accomplish so far as head coach?
Obviously winning. We've taken the program from a program that wasn't winning so much and put it back on the map. We compete night in and night out with the top in the league. So yeah, just, changing the culture of what this program was when I got here, and continuing it. Sustaining a program is half the battle, right? Like, a lot of coaches can take over teams and win right off the bat, but can you sustain that? And not always, it's not necessarily winning championships, but it's having a winning culture and having that mentality around your program day in and day out and year in and year out. And our kids this year, our GPA was a 3.64. So just having a really high academic standards. Again, we want them to be ready and willing to get out into the real world and make an impact right away. But you have to graduate to do that. So just watching all these kids graduate year after year. And again, the winning is always fun, but there's just so much more. But yeah, but just building overall a sustainable culture and a sustainable program that I think UMSL can be proud of, and we're obviously proud of it.
What are some of your future plans for the program moving forward?
Oh, continuing to win, and we'd love to obviously get in a position where we're fighting and winning for conference championship, making the NCAA tournament, which isn't easy in this league and in this region. So just setting our goals high but attainable, and continue to recruit kids that can help us reach those goals.
What advice would you have those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college women's basketball?
We always tell our freshmen to come in shape. Like, you've got to work hard that summer before and really come in fit. That's the difference maker between coming in and competing, is being really, really, really in really good shape, so that when we start to push you in that way, because those first 6 weeks, that's what we're doing. We're preseason training. It's a lot of conditioning and weights, and obviously some basketball. But we always tell them, if you're fatigued, you can't learn, right? Like, if you're tired, your brain's not functioning. So if you spend that 6 weeks just trying to get in shape, you can't learn the basketball side of it. And that often is what takes freshmen that first semester to really gain and grow, and then be able to turn the page that second semester. So the fitness piece is really important, but also just the mind, come in with an open mind. Obviously, no coach is exactly alike, right? So I am definitely not like their high school coaches, their AAU coaches. No two coaches are alike. So just coming in with an open mind that, it's going to be different. You're playing in a different system. You're playing with different players. It's bigger, faster, stronger. So give yourself some grace to grow, and don't take everything so seriously. You gotta laugh at your mistakes a little bit here and there, and learn from them, but you also got to let them go and not harbor on them. So, just a lot of the mind stuff too. We talk a lot about the mental side of the game, and again, allowing yourself to make mistakes and grow in them, but give yourself some grace.
What advice would you have those college athletes out there looking to go play professional basketball, whether it's the WNBA or overseas?
If that's your dream, you got to work at it, right? Because it's going to take work, and you have to put the hours in and log them, and stay, again, healthy. You have to take care of your body. You have to eat right. There's just so many different aspects of the game that I don't think people think about. But nutrition is huge. Just really diving into that stuff and learning on how you can take care of your body outside of basketball. And then obviously you got to work at it, and how that looks for them. Everybody's a little different, how they train, working on your weaknesses, but really, find your craft and amplify it. If you're a 3-point shooter, be the best 3-point shooter you can be. Because ultimately every team is looking for that. They don't need the same 10 kids, right? Everybody has a different thing they can bring to the team. So, yeah, I would just say, if those are your goals, you gotta work for them, and you gotta, do everything that it takes to reach them, which isn't just, playing basketball. It's all the outside stuff too.
What advice would you give those college basketball players looking to get into coaching after their playing career like you did?
Yeah, explore it. If that's something you want to do, jump right into it after you're done playing, and see, like I did, be a grad assistant. And I've talked to many players about that in the past, and some want to move on in different ways, and some do explore it and stay in it. I have a couple former players that are currently coaching, so it's fun to watch them do that. But it's I think they think it's always fun, right? Coaching's fun. And it is, obviously it's a very rewarding profession, but it's also a very humbling profession. And everybody gets to critique you and tell you how bad you are and tell you, you should have played this kid, you should have done that, but my husband goes to work and I don't critique him and tell him how he's doing his job. So it's definitely an open book kind of job where you've got to, again, give yourself some grace as a coach to be able to just handle criticism. You're going to have disgruntled players that don't play. How are you handling that? Right? Like it's really hard to make 12 to 15 kids happy day in and day out, in a lot of ways. So building relationships with your players and, just talk them through like, what do you think you could bring to the table as far as a coach? Like, what are your strengths in that area too? Just like we do basketball. Because again, every coach is different and has different, brings different values to a staff and to a team.
What advice would you give those future head coaches out there looking to build their own program and build their own legacy?
Keep learning, right? Because the game is always evolving. These players are evolving. Just stay open-minded and, I guess be flexible. A lot of coaches that I've talked to over the years, and athletic directors, when they interview you, they're like, what's your, what are your principles and what do you, how do you build a program? And, I think building a program, you have to have a foundation and have your core beliefs and how you want to build that around. But I think every year it changes based off the kids you have. So being really flexible with, again, yourself and making mistakes and growing from them, learning from others. I steal a lot of stuff from a lot of good coaches. So by no means did I build my own playbook defensively or offensively, or even, disciplinary stuff. I'm always talking to other coaches on how they do things and structure practices and all the things. So just being, very open-minded and not set on one way to do things, right? There's a lot of different ways, and then find what fits the team that you have and the kids that you have and how that you can get them to buy into what you're doing.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the program at?
UMSLTritons.edu. And then I have a Twitter. I don't even know my Twitter handle, but I am on Twitter. UMSL Women's Basketball is on Twitter. Facebook, UMSL Women's Basketball. It's just UMSL WBB for all of that. So
thank you again, Coach Kate Vaughn, for your interview, and best luck in your future with the UMSL as the head women's basketball coach.
Thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at @talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Kate Vaughn, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thanks.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.